Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're reviewing the new Colorado ZR2. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Jerry Signer Chevy here in Salt Lake for giving me some time with this Colorado. I'm going to include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for Jeffrey. And then also include a link to my car buying guide in the description down below as well. Let's get right into it. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 2.7 liter four-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy 17 around town, and then 17 on the highway, with power outputs being 310 horsepower and then 430 pound-feet of torque. Before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood of the truck, you've got this giant bulge here in the center. It's kind of like a Chevy thing to do to make the truck look sportier, I suppose a little bit more aggressive. And speaking of aggressive, I love the headlight design here on the Colorado. Super clean looking. And you can see the trim piece down below. We've got some fog lights here at the very bottom, and then you've got recovery points. We have skid plate protection with the ZR2. You can see the ZR2 badge there on the other side, by the way. But yeah, putting it all together, this thing looks incredibly aggressive for a truck. Now around the side here, our turn wheel setup is 285 by 70 by 17 in the front and over in the rear. And you can see here with the wheels, you got the silver mixed with the darker elements, definitely like an off-road style wheel. And then we've got independent front suspension with the Colorado. Huge fender flares, you can see that there on the side. And then we've got these rock rails on the side as well. Blacked out mirror cap with the Colorado badge. We of course have a ZR2 decal here, and then we've got the DSSV Multimatic shocks. Leaf springs with this. Then if we take a few steps back, this is where you can see that kind of like wide body off-road truck appearance. It's a good look, I think. This leads us to the key fobs. So if it'll focus, there you go, Chevy logo, lock, unlock there, remote start, so all the stuff you need. And then popping into the rear, tailgate does slow lower, very slow lower down. You've got the drainable storage in the tailgate, protection here from the factory. You can see you've got an outlet here in the back as well. But yeah, definitely a nice place. Tailgate's very light, so getting that up is easy. And then here's a quick look at the tail lights. I like how Chevrolet's stamped into the back here. And there's the rest of the rear. So let me know what you guys think about the looks here with the ZR2, but I think they did a great job with the style. Now taking a look at the door panel, got the neon stitching throughout. And then these seats are pretty cool. So again, you got more of that neon stitching, then you've got these inserts with the seats. Getting in, you do have to step up quite a bit. It's a tall pickup truck. But legroom pretty typical for midsize. Got some cup holders here. You've got some vents down below, some USB ports. And then the rear window is manual with this. And then headroom's solid. Now taking a look at the front door panel again with all of the neon stitching. And we've got all of our window controls here, mirror adjustments. Blind spot ring with the mirrors. Payload capacity on this truck, 1,221 pounds. And here's the front seat. Again, nice trim all throughout. All of our adjustments on the side. And then see with the trailer brake controls. And then this is cool. It's all the stitching that goes around. Now take a look at the steering wheel. You can see soft touch all around. Got radio controls there on the back. Got stuff like your cruise control. You got practical controls like for the infotainment system on the other side. And we have our turn signal / windshield wiper stalk. Now taking a look at the gauge cluster, you can see fully digital, and it's cool how customizable it is. You just press the little arrow button there on the steering wheel and it'll pop to different gauges depending on what information you want to see. And this is cool, even a map view. It's almost like too many options in a way. It's like, which one do I go with? 360 camera system with this. You get all of the camera views, including the undercarriage. So I think that's pretty cool from an option perspective. And then as for the rest of the infotainment system, yes, it has light controls built in, just like other Colorados. Pretty quick with the response time. You got that shortcut bar there on the side, so yeah, it's easy to use. So dual zone climate controls here. We've got heated seat controls as well, or that neon stitching. And then emphasize physical controls for the locking diffs. Auto stop, start, hazard lights, lane departure, auxiliary. If you want to add anything, got the window control there. It's your charging area. Then here's the shifter for that 8-speed. We've got our drive line select, so advanced 4-wheel drive system with 2-speed transfer case. And it's also the drive mode select. Drive modes will pop up here. So you've got a bunch of different modes depending on what you're going to be taking the truck through. Then we've got a little parking brake there, some cup holders, nice lid on the center console. Pretty solid feeling, like this is sturdy, kind of random. ZR2 logo there. Again, you got like the camo print that goes across. And then we do have a sunroof up top as well. Now taking a look at the window sticker, you can see 2024 ZR2. There's your base MSRP, $46,800. This one has a few options added to it. Total MSRP is $53,080. And let's see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility of the hood, both mirrors. Throughout the rest of the rear. And, well, tight space, but we will set off. This is where that 360 camera system is definitely a nice feature to have. Now, I could probably make that, but we'll play it safe. So, I'm going to make some comparisons to the Ranger Raptor because I did that comparison AT4X versus Ranger Raptor, and I've also reviewed a couple Ranger Raptors, so got a pretty good feel for it. And I know that there's going to be more people comparing this to the Ranger Raptor than even though the AT4X is the same truck, drives the same. There's going to be more people comparing the ZR2 because GMC is kind of more upscale, I guess, is what they are going for. What do they say? Business grade. This is is it business grade? I think this is like professional grade. This business grade, something. I can't remember the advertising. Who cares? So setting off, seat comfort, pretty solid. So not too shabby. Gonna go slower here just in case. Okay, but yeah, that's nice. Does well over the bumps with the damping. And even though these aren't live valve like on the Ranger Raptor, you can't adjust them, 3-chamber system does well. Multimatic's a pretty impressive manufacturer, and these shocks have been shown to be pretty reliable too. That's another big benefit of them. Yeah, really good torque out of this powertrain. It's obviously not the fire-breathing monster that the Ranger Raptor is with that turbo V6 under the hood with over 400 horsepower, but it's good for a mid-size pickup truck. I've said this before, but like we now live in a world where there's not really a slow mid-size pickup truck anymore. Every single mid-size pickup truck's got good enough power to where you accelerate and you're like, yeah, it's not a race car by any means, but it's pretty quick. Now, the Ranger Raptor drives more like a sports car in a way, like a sports truck. It's kind of what the Raptors have always been about. This, on the other hand, is more like a traditional truck, so the steering's lighter. It's not quite as like razor sharp direct as the Ranger. But yeah, this definitely feels more truck-like compared to the Ranger. And so, even though it can technically do the Baja stuff, it's probably going to feel more at home with low speed and middle speed off-roading rather than the high speed. So it'll be able to do the high speed, but comfort-wise. So up here we'll get an acceleration, but yeah, to cap things off, I think the Colorado ZR2 is great. I think this makes more sense for a lot of people because first off, Ranger Raptor is hard to get, so a lot of dealers are charging over MSRP, and the MSRP is already higher than this. You know, you're 57 for a base Ranger Raptor, 59 for, you know, if you get the fancy wheels and stuff. And so already right off the bat, you're $4,000 to $6,000 more expensive. And then you tack on the $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 dealer addendums, whatever dealers are, you know, attempting to get out of the Ranger Raptors. And I mean, the Ranger Raptor is cool, but it's definitely not, you know, $15,000, $20,000 cooler than the Colorado ZR2. And so I'd say the ZR2 is kind of, it's not, I mean, these are also kind of hard to get, but they're not going for over MSRP. So yeah, I'd say this one makes a lot more sense for most people, and it's powerful enough. Like that's more than enough power. That 2.7. I think it looks cool. And you got the Bison version. I think the Bison's, again, I like the Ranger Raptor's engine the best, but I think that Bison's probably the coolest out of the bunch. Let me know your thoughts.